When sending SMS messages to South Korea, there are several important regulations and guidelines that you should be aware of in order to ensure successful delivery and avoid any legal consequences. Let's learn about the things you need to know about South Korea SMS service. The use of a fixed sender ID, equals sender number, is required in South Korea for SMS communication to promote accountability and transparency. The Korean Communications Commission, KCC, requires that all SMS messages sent to South Korea use a fixed sender ID, equals sender number, in order to identify the sender of the message and ensure that recipients can take appropriate action if necessary. The fixed sender ID, equals sender number, must be a valid 10 to 11-digit phone number. Using a fixed sender ID, equals sender number, ensures that the recipient can identify the sender of the message and helps prevent the use of false. It is important to note that all SMS messages must be registered with the Korean Communications Commission, KCC, before they can be sent, and they must comply with the laws and regulations set by the KCC. Violation of these regulations can result in fines, suspension of SMS services, and legal action. It is important to understand and comply with these regulations in order to ensure the successful delivery of SMS messages to South Korea and to avoid any legal consequences for violation of the regulations. By using a fixed sender ID, equals sender number, you can help maintain the integrity of SMS communication in South Korea. Among the multiple sender ID, equals sender number, S registered by the customer, it is possible to send them to another sender ID, equals sender number, registered for each message. In South Korea, a company can use multiple registered sender ID, equals sender number, S for the same message. This means that the same message can be sent from different registered numbers associated with the company. However, it is important to note that each registered sender ID, equals sender number, must comply with the regulations set by the Korean Communications Commission, KCC. The KCC requires that a fixed sender ID, equals sender number, registered must be used for all SMS messages sent to South Korea. The fixed sender ID, equals sender number, must be a valid 10 to 11-digit phone number, can be up to 10 to 11 characters long. It is important to understand and comply with these regulations in order to ensure the successful delivery of SMS messages to South Korea and to avoid any legal consequences for violation of the regulations. Recipients who have not registered sender ID, equals sender number, S are prohibited from sending messages. The use of a registered sender ID, equals sender number, is required in South Korea because it ensures that the recipient can identify the sender of the message and helps prevent the use of false. This requirement is set by the Korean Communications Commission, KCC, in order to promote accountability and transparency in SMS communications. By using a registered sender ID, equals sender number, recipients can be confident that the messages they receive are from a valid source and can take appropriate action if necessary. This helps to protect both the recipient and the sender and promotes a trustworthy and secure SMS communication environment. Recipients who have not registered a sender ID, equals sender number, are prohibited from sending SMS messages in South Korea. According to the regulations set by the Korean Communications Commission, KCC, all SMS messages must be sent from a valid 10 to 11-digit phone number. The use of false or misleading phone numbers are strictly prohibited and can result in legal consequences. Failure to register a sender ID, equals sender number, or comply with these regulations can result in fines, suspension of SMS services, and legal action. It is important to understand and comply with these regulations in order to ensure the successful delivery of SMS messages to South Korea and to avoid any legal consequences for violation of the regulations. Regulation of advertising, spam messages in South Korea. When sending SMS messages, they must be sent in compliance. Send SMS messages. When sending advertising or spam messages to South Korea, it is important to understand and comply with these regulations in order to ensure the successful delivery of advertising and spam messages to South Korea and to avoid any legal consequences for violation of the regulations. Failure to comply with these regulations can result in fines, suspension of SMS services, and legal action. In order to avoid any legal consequences, it is important to obtain prior consent from the recipient before sending advertising or spam messages and to clearly identify the message as an advertisement. By providing the recipient with the necessary information about the sender, such as their name and contact information, you can promote accountability and transparency in your communications. Additionally, the KCC has established guidelines for the content and frequency of advertising messages, and SMS messages that violate these guidelines may be subject to fines or legal action. By following these guidelines, you can ensure the successful delivery of your messages and maintain a trustworthy and secure SMS communication environment. Finally, sender ID is not required to send to Korea, but in that case, the message will be sent with the 007 or 009 prefix. In conclusion, it is important to be aware of the regulations set by the KCC when sending SMS messages to South Korea. By following these guidelines, you can ensure that your messages are sent successfully and that you maintain a trustworthy and secure SMS communication environment. By keeping these guidelines in mind, you can ensure that your messages are sent in compliance with the regulations set by the KCC and that you are able to effectively communicate with your audience in South Korea.